Welcome to Courier Prep Football Weekly. It's now week 4. Alongside Erik Jacobsen, I'm Andy Rohr.
As always, we'll be looking at our game of the week, which this week pits South Elgin against Elgin. We'll also be getting to know some players in the Faceoff.
And we'll also be getting Erik's picks on all the area's games. But first, let's take a look at this week's Game of the Week.
The Game of the Week pits the Elgin Maroons against the South Elgin Storm. Elgin comes in after a lopsided loss last week.
Basically, like you said, a lot of fundamentals this week, and we've obviously got to improve.
Both teams enter at 0-3 and are looking for that first win.
They run multiple formations, so one key for us defensively is going to be our alignment. After that, it's our pad level and getting to the ball. And I always think it's key, too, when you play a district opponent, something we stress to the kids, to the young men, is that when you play a district opponent, you always want to try to beat everybody in your district, and maybe a little more sense of pride in that.
The Maroons will host the Storm and Coach Dale Shapert in his first game back at Memorial Field since coaching Larkin in 2004.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a big game too. There's Elgin and Larkin and South Elgin and Larkin. It's going to be a good one when we get to that point. And South Elgin and Elgin, the first 2 games we played, there was a lot of spirit. The kids played really hard on both sides. There was a lot of excitement for the game. I haven't been back to Memorial in 4 years, and I keep telling these kids that it's a great place to play a football game.
The Storm come in after a disappointing loss to East Aurora last week, and after beating Elgin 49-7 a year ago.
And our kids that know their kids, they're pretty familiar with each other, so they've already told us that there have been some bantering back and forth that started over the weekend. So that'll make it exciting. Familiarity sometimes makes it a little more of that makes the rivalry. You know each other a little bit more than everywhere else, so it'll be exciting. We're looking forward to it.
Now it's time for the Face-Off. This week we get to know South Elgin senior quarterback Pat Ray and Elgin senior quarterback Tom Roth and senior receiver Jamal Cook.
Probably Florida.
My favorite college football team's Illinois.
Georgia. I like to stay quiet, just think about what I'm going to do.
I just like to listen to a lot of Lil Wayne stuff.
I Put On by Young Jeezy.
No, I do know people though on like Bartlett.
My cousin at Larkin, Anthony Biggs.
Probably like wet cleats.
Girdles.
Girdles?
Horrible.
Like Jamal said, girdles. Those are the worst.
I want to thank those guys for helping us out in this week's Face-Off. All right, Erik, now it's time for your picks. Let's get it started with our Game of the Week, South Elgin and Elgin.
Yeah, a couple of struggling teams, as you saw in the preview. Winless squads coming in. Defensively, both teams have been having trouble stopping teams so far this year. On the offensive side of the ball, South Elgin, they've been able to move the ball so far this year, but just haven't crossed the goal line much. They haven't scored a touchdown since week 1. Elgin's offense looked pretty good in the first 2 weeks of the season, but was kind of non-existent in the 61-0 loss to Kankakee last week. So a lot of work's been done this week. I know both teams are going to be fired up for this one. Bottom line, I think this game's going to be a total toss-up. It could go either way. District game, guys know each other. They've grown up together. They're really going to be into this game. Both teams are going to want to get that first win. Like I said, pretty much a toss-up, but I think Elgin might have a little more firepower. I'm going to take the Maroons here, but it really comes down to which team shows up on Friday night, and I think it's going to be Elgin in a very good game.
All right, St. Charles East, then, they're going to be traveling to take on Streamwood.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough test for the Sabres. Last week they lost 54-0 at St. Charles North. The task gets no easier with St. Charles East coming to play at Streamwood on Friday night. The Saints are now ranked number 8 in the Class 7A poll, and Coach Ted Munkin's team looked good last week, beating Waubonsie Valley. Kind of put that loss to Geneva in week 2 in the past, and they're certainly going to be in the mix for the Upstate 8 Conference title. And I don't really see any question here. St. Charles East has won 13 in a row against Streamwood, dating back to 1990, and I don't see any reason that streak's going to stop. I'm going to take the Saints in here in this ballgame.
All right, another one of the area's top teams, Huntley, they're going to be traveling to take on Jacobs.
Yeah, Huntley's had to deal with a lot of stuff this week. The strike for striking teachers in District 158, kind of limited practice this first few games, and a lot of questions going around whether this game would even be played. They got the strike resolved, so the game's on. Those distractions could weigh in for Huntley. Jacobs is homecoming for them. I'm sure they're glad just to get the game in. And the Golden Eagles have been in every game so far this year. It's been 1 point win in week 1, 1 point loss in week 2. Lost a tough game last week against Crystal Lake Central. Expect the Golden Eagles to give Huntley all kinds of trouble here. Jacobs is a good team. They're right in every game. They're going to be in every game, I think, throughout the year. But I like Huntley here. I think they're going to get the focus going. They want to keep this good thing rolling. They're 3-0 and looking to go 4-0, and I think they will do so. I'm going to take Huntley in a pretty good game on the road. I'm going to take Huntley.
All right, Larkin then in a potential trap game, maybe taking on East Aurora on the road.
Yeah, certainly. Maybe South Elgin fell into that trap a little bit last week. East Aurora's had all kinds of problems the last couple of years, but the Tomcats snuck up and bit the storm last week, and Larkin's got to be aware of that. They got to go down there knowing this isn't a cakewalk. But with that said, the Royals certainly have what it takes to win here. I think that they're going to be able to take care of business as long as they go down there focused. I'd like Larkin to get back to 500 and get to 2-2 and beat East Aurora in this game.
All right, St. Edward then, they're going to be going on the road to take on Aurora Central Catholic.
Yeah, the Waves certainly got a rude awakening when they opened Suburban Catholic Conference play last week. Really got thumped 22-0 against Immaculate Conception. The focus will be right back, I think. Coach Rolando is going to get this team pretty well focused going into this game. They're going to have a tough test. Quarterback Mike Adams for Aurora Central Catholic is the man. He kind of does it all on offense for them, and that'll be the #1 priority for St. Edward. The Waves going to have that in mind. Last year they were up 12 points going into the fourth quarter, gave up 28 unanswered in the fourth quarter, lose that game. St. Edward probably have that in their mind. They're going to want to get a little revenge. It's going to be a good game, as every Suburban Catholic Conference game will be. It's going to be challenging for St. Edward, but if they play up to their potential, I like the Wave in this game. I'm going to take St. Edward on the road, but they're going to have to play a little better than last week.
All right, then. Burlington Central, they're going to be looking for that first win. They're going to be hosting Oregon.
Yeah, the Rockets certainly just having some trouble this year. Just making some strides, but Coach Aaron Wickman continues to see gains. The young team coming together. This is another tough test, though. This is their last non-conference game before they start Big Northern East play next week. It's going to be a tough one. Oregon, looks pretty good this season. They kind of won a slot fest in double overtime against Hampshire last week, and I think they're going to come back even better than last week. And I like Oregon on the road here to beat Burlington Central. The Rockets will get it going eventually, but just not this week. So.
All right, another one of our teams looking for that first win. Hampshire, they're going to be taking on Byron.
Yeah, the Whips have been in every game, including last week's double overtime loss against Oregon, and this is going to be a tough one. Byron beat Central last week, so kind of the two big Northern teams switching looks here. But I like Hampshire here, playing at home. I think they're going to finally break through. They've been in every game. It's just going to take a little more well played throughout. No mistakes, no turnovers, no penalties. They're going to have to cut down on that. But I think this could be the one where they break through in a very good game. It could go either way. I'm going to take Hampshire being the home team here against Byron.
All right, Dundee Crown, then they're going to be looking to keep that winning streak going. They're going to be hosting Grays Lake Central.
Break up the Chargers 2 in a row. They got Streamwood, they got Grays Lake North. I see no reason they won't continue that against Grays Lake Central this week. The Rams have had some problems. I think they're 4-35 since the start of the 2004 season, so they've had their woes, kind of like DC. But these Chargers are pretty good, and the schedule kind of lines up for them well. And I like Dundee Crown to take care of business here at home this week and improve to 3-1. And when you get to 3-1, then you can legitimately start talking about win a couple games here. If they get a couple upsets, they might be a playoff-bound team. So I'm going with Dundee Crown in this ball game.
All right, Bartlett, they're going to be going on the road to take on Lake Park.
Yeah, we talked about trap games earlier. This could kind of be one for the Hawks. The Hawks obviously have a lot of high. They're rolling right now. Still number 7 in Class 8A rankings. Looked dominant last week against Larkin, and certainly the only thing that's going to stop them is their own play if they make mistakes and get sloppy. But Lake Park snuck up, upset Neuqua Valley last week, and certainly have improved. The Lancers are better than last season, maybe better than the last couple years. And this could be a trap game for Bartlett. They're going to have to stay focused, play well. But I like Bartlett. Until somebody knocks them off, I think I like Bartlett all the way here. But this could be a tricky one. But I'm taking Bartlett on the road.
All right, then St. Charles North, they're going to be hosting Thornton Fractional North.
Yeah, the North Stars certainly looked good in that win against Streamwood last week, and have looked pretty good all season long, the first 3 games. I've liked North. I thought all along that they're going to be in the mix in the Upstate 8 Conference. I've been picking them all the way. This is going to be a different kind of game for them, a little different look with the team from Thornton Fractional North, maybe a little more athleticism on this team, a little different style of play. But I think the North Stars will be able to adjust, and they won 21-13 against Thornton Fractional North last year. I expect a similarly good game, but I'm going to go with St. Charles North at home, in homecoming. They're going to take care of business here.
All right, then the Cogs, Kingston, they're going to be looking to go 4-0 as they take on North Boone.
Yeah, good looking to go 4-0 for the second straight year. The Cogs are kind of building something out there with Coach Bill McCarty. But this is going to be a tough one. North Boone certainly improved, and I know Coach McCarty is well aware of that. They've got a lot of sophomores playing very well for North Boone right now. The Vikings are 2-1, but the Cogs certainly made a great impression last week, beating Harvard. I see them continuing the run. They look like maybe the team to beat with Oregon out in the Big Northern West. So I'll take a GK here on the road to beat North Boone.
All right, there you go. Eric's picks on all the area's games. Be sure to check out the Courier News on Friday as we take a look at more information on all these matchups. On Saturday, take a look at the Courier News for game recaps and information on what happened in all the games on Friday. And on Sunday, then take a look at the Courier News Online for highlights from this week's Game of the Week between South Elgin and Elgin. And of course, all week long on the All Around E-Town blog on Courier News Online, Eric and other writers here at the Courier News will be blogging on all the games around the area. So, for Erik Jacobsen, I'm Andy Rohr. So long, everybody.